if you want to talk to me any longer, you can come over to my house. And he said, you know what? He says, if you don't give me any information, I'm going to get a warrant. I'm going to come in and kick your door down and take your guns. And I said, what? And he said, yeah, I'm going to come and kick your door down. And once I heard that, I told my wife, give me her phone. She's got a recorder on it, so I started recording it. And I told him, once I started recording, I said, what did you say again? You were going to come over to my house and do what? And I think he knew what was going on, but he didn't say it again. But
what's the department?
Grayling Sheriff's Department in Michigan. And so long story short, he ends up hanging up on me. So I called the number back, and I asked to speak with whoever just called me and harassed me, and they wouldn't give me anybody. I said, well, I'm filing a complaint. I want to file a complaint. Because
don't worry, their globalist masters have already wrecked Michigan good. None of them are going to have jobs soon anyway, so they've mission complete. America down for the count. Good job, men. Go ahead. What else happened?
I called back again, and I told him, or at the same time I told him I wanted to call back. So the undersheriff finally calls me back a half hour later, and I told him this situation. And
he was trying to like entrap you into something wrong. It's like, hey, loon, I was calling somebody out of an ad to buy a gun. You got my number? I'm talking to you.
Yeah, and so I recorded that whole conversation, and he started laughing when I told him what had happened. And I said, is this funny to you? And he's laughing. I said, you know what? I'm filing a complaint with this. And he says, oh, you ain't going to do that. I said, yeah. I said, you're probably going to hear from a lawyer.
By the way, they can't stop you from filing a criminal complaint. And when they don't, that becomes another criminal action. But they count on your ignorance.
Well, he told me that I couldn't sue him because I didn't suffer any monetary or any physical damages. And I said, you know what, buddy? I've suffered.
Hey, you know what? Sue them and let them beat the rap. It doesn't matter. They're all drinking fluoride water and taking cancer shots anyways. Hey, check your laws there. But if you're a one-party consent in that state, plus they're a public servant, put it on YouTube if it's legal and lawful. I appreciate your call. Yeah, that's about standard procedure up there. Speaking of Michigan, we have a man who, you can read the story up at Infowars.com, just won the primary up there in Michigan. He's running as a Democrat, and he's a patriot, and he witnessed the government get the underwear bomber on the plane. That was later confirmed in congressional testimony. And you can read the article. Kurt Haskell wins House Representatives primary in Michigan, and he's here to tell us about that. Very exciting to hear about that, Kurt. Tell us what's going on.
Hey, Alex. Glad to be back on your show again.
Good to have you here. So tell us what's happening up there with your congressional run.
Yeah, you know, I had a big day yesterday. I won the Democrat primary here in Michigan. I actually won every precinct in 7 counties, so I was pretty excited about that.
Looks like we're going to have a congressman.
I hope so. You know,
because that district's pretty heavily Democrat, right? You just won the Democrat primary.
No, it's actually 51% Republican. So,
well, I was reading, though, articles months ago saying the Democrats might win up there, but go ahead, continue. You're running as a Democrat, yeah.
Yeah. I have a very good shot of winning, but yeah, it's not. It does. My district does not lean Democrat at all. No, it's very.
I thought they were rewriting a bunch of that, but I'm incorrect. So tell us what else is going on.
Yeah, so you know, I did a lot of campaigning, got a lot of support, and you know, it's pretty exciting for me. I've never run for office before, and you know, just to go out and have all the people wish me well. You know, it's nice to hear instead of people attacking me, saying, hey, you know, he's some kind of conspiracy theorist or something like that. You know, that gets so old when, you know, all I'm trying to do here is, you know, help the country get back to what it once was.
Well, in the beginning, a patriot's a scarce man, hated, feared, and scorned, but in time when his cause succeeds, the timid join him, because then it costs nothing to be a patriot. We're going to come back and talk about your run for Congress up there and what you stand for, and what you're saying out there that let you beat the guy you were running against. Kurt Haskell is our guest, joining us from Michigan. He just won the Democratic primary there. And we're going to break down that run briefly on the other side of this quick break. Stay with us. Okay. Kurt Haskell is our guest, survivor of the underwear bomber. He and his wife, Usama Talib, looking drug from the descriptions I've heard. It's like all these other patsies being put on the airplane by the U.S. government. And later that came out in congressional testimony. Kurt, what are you running on that's so successful? And what are you going to do when the media, as you get ready to beat this guy, because it's neck and neck, brings up, how dare you as a survivor, how dare you, be someone that exposed the fact that he was gotten on the plane?
Well, I've been on this show many times, and we all know, anyone that followed that case knows that it was admitted during the hearings in Congress that he was put on the plane intentionally. So that's what I'm going to say. I mean, how do you deny that? There's video of it on YouTube, so that's going to be my response to that. But what am I running on that's so successful? Running on a 3-part campaign. I want to restore the middle class instead of this have and have not system that we're getting into the past few years. Of course, I'm very big on constitutional rights, as I'm sure you probably suspected and many of your listeners have. And also, I want to get to a balanced budget and do something about the debt and, go to a hard money standard or honest money, like Ron Paul likes to call it. So, that's the 3 parts of my campaign. My opponent, Wahlberg, is supported by the banks and Wall Street, and all his votes go against the people. Therefore, the banks, Wall Street, and the ultra-rich. So people are getting really tired of that up here. He also ran as a Tea Party candidate when he ran, yet all of his votes go against the Constitution. He's voted for CISPA and HR 347, renewal of the Patriot Act, NDAA, et cetera, et cetera. And of course, I'm against all of those. I'm very pro-Constitution. I would vote against all of them, including the body scanning machines. Of course, I want to get rid of those. So, and of course, I don't want to just audit the Federal Reserve Bank. I want to get rid of it completely. I think it's a complete disaster for America. So I want to take it one step further than, the recent bill that was passed. So those are a few things I'm running on.
Well, I've seen your platform, and I probably agree with about 90% of it. But the issue is, we know you're a guy of credibility who has honor and courage and will not let peer pressure get to you. The first month and a half where the FBI was disagreeing with your story, and then it all came out in Congress and in a few news articles. Oh, the U.S. government did ask the State Department to get him on the airplane, and they did get him a visa, and he didn't have a passport. And Kurt Haskell was right about that, and they don't want to release the security tapes. And why was he brought around the body scanners? Well, it was the rollout of the body scanners here, set for the next week, January 1st. This was a PR rollout, so they got a little... In closing, what is the website? How do people in Michigan get behind you to make sure you get into Congress?
Sure. KurtHaskellForCongress.com. And of course, guys, I really need some donations to support my campaign. I spent quite a bit of my own money on the primary. And to beat Wahlberg, I'm going to need to raise a lot of money. He has $600,000 in the bank, I think. I don't think I need to raise that much to win because I'm a much better candidate, but I need to raise a significant amount.
And by the way, you are pro-Second Amendment.
Very much. The entire Constitution I support.
Let's just be clear. Isn't that other Republican, I'm going from memory, but isn't he quasi-anti-gun?
Yeah, just because I'm running as a Democrat doesn't mean I'm a liberal and a Democrat view. No,
I know, but if the guy you're running against has 100% guns, get him on that. A pro-Democrat... a pro-gun Democrat will sink a neocon any day. Hey, buddy, great job. Look forward to do a longer interview soon.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Give us the website again.
KurtHaskellForCongress.com.
KurtHaskellForCongress.com. I'm Alex Jones of Infowars.com. More calls coming up. All right, ladies and gentlemen, into Overdrive coming up in the retransmission. We premiere Full Spectrum Evil, Secrets of Global Domination. The video is now up at Infowars.com. Please send it out to your entire Facebook, Twitter. Help us get this out. It's so vital people understand the globalist divide and conquer program. Let's go to a couple of your phone calls. Those that have been patiently holding. Dan in Virginia, listening on XM 166. You're on the air. Welcome, sir.
Alex, this is P.I. Dan. I need your opinion on something.
Sure.
We've had 2 false flags here in the past 2 weeks. Congress is out of session. What do you think chances are that there'll be 1 or 2 more false flags?
And then executive order?
By, an emergency declaration and an emergency order or executive order?
That's why I love phone calls. That's why I love phone calls. For a week, I've been meaning to say that. Obama said he may sign one on cybersecurity that's got massive gun restrictions in it. He may sign that bill in as executive order when you can't do that. And you're absolutely right. I've meant to make that point. If they think they can get away with it with enough events, oh, well, he had to because people were shooting up all the poor folks. We're absolutely. Are you worried about that?
Absolutely. I work with, I'll be blunt about it, a lot of rednecks, and they're all saying, well, I'm buying ammo and I'm buying guns and I'm getting ready. And when they come to my house, I'm like, no. I says, you don't want to be there. I says, you won't get off 2 rounds if they come to your house. The mantra of the infantry is shoot, move, and communicate. Well, we need to reverse that. We need to communicate, and then if that doesn't work, we move. And then if that doesn't work, is the very, very, very last thing, we get to shoot.
You're a genius. You're right. Shoot, move, communicate. That's basic guerrilla warfare. We need to reverse that. The info war. Communicate. The founders did this, and then try to move out of the way. And then if you can't do it, then you have to go offense via defense. And then that's just the way it is. And then you got to go all the way. Absolutely. Really good point.
And, I communicate with everybody every day. I was with you at Bilderberg. I've got to order some more Tyranny Response Team T-shirts because I've worn out the 3 I've got. I wear them every day. And I'm in New York today. And, I have an empty holster on my belt. And people ask me, well, what's that empty holster for? I says, well, because you people in New York like unarmed victims. I says, where I'm from, we get to carry guns. And I open carry all the time at home. I've got one of those little straps, what they call Yaki holsters. That's just the same width as your belt.
Yeah.
You get to see the most of the pistol. And, people look at me and I look at them.
Well, no, that's what scares the system is that we openly start exercising our rights when they want to run TV shows and ads implying guns are illegal in your house. It's all a perception battle. God bless you. Great points. Chris in Rhode Island, last caller we have time for. Sorry to the others. Chris, we got about 1.5 minutes. Go ahead.
Hey, great show today. I just want to make a couple of quick comments about Pieczenik. I couldn't disagree more with him about, he says the FBI does a good job with domestic terrorism. Well, that's probably because they run the domestic terrorists. And then he couldn't have licked Petraeus' boots anymore. And Petraeus is the head of the global drug syndicate we know as the CIA.
Well, he wasn't the head of that. I mean, Pieczenik's a really serious guy. And obviously we get him on to try to, you notice when I wanted to get into specifics of 9/11, it was, he's the real deal. It's pretty amazing if you actually look into that guy. It's pretty scary, quite frankly. I think he's listening probably right now. But, sure. Yeah, it's a real insider. It's a Council on Foreign Relations guy, high level.
What do you think about the October surprise being a second Cuban Missile Crisis?
That's definitely in the cards. The October surprise is an Iran war and a bunch of stuff blowing up. And, look, they're gearing the military up for all sorts of stuff domestically. And you've got this new Army report where they say the Tea Party works with Al-Qaeda. Folks, they may arrest me and say I'm Al-Qaeda. That's how dumb they think you are. While they run Al-Qaeda in Libya and Syria and everywhere else. It's just unbelievable. All right, stay with us. Alex Jones here with a very important announcement for Truth.